Hello, and welcome back to Articulate with me, Stephen Jones. So, are you ready for another episode with Stephen Barrett? If you've listened to the other ones, you know him and I, we go off the rails sometimes. We get a little wild, and this one is no different. It gets, this one I think is actually one of the most wild ones that we've had. But, it's also very, I think it's pretty philosophical and informational, gets a little political. And, I know Steven, I don't think he would mind me saying this, but I just need a little disclaimer for myself when I'm doing interviews with people. It's like, a lot of the times I personally consider myself a very neutral person, especially, I didn't start the podcast to be neutral. I was neutral and then started the podcast kind of afterwards. I try to be, a middle ground for a lot of people when I have friends that are debating. I try to explain both sides to them and keep things level. And, but when I have a guest on that has a certain amount of beliefs, if you haven't caught on to it at all, a certain amount of beliefs. If they have certain beliefs leaning one way or the other, I tend to kind of just go along with it. And I'll agree with stuff and I'll kind of, just to see where they're going with it. And again, I mean, there's different sides make sense from that person's viewpoint. You know what I mean? So even if it's a side that I don't necessarily agree with, when a person puts it in perspective for me and is able to make sense of it, at least through their mind, I get it. I can kind of see what's going on and what's going through their mind. So it's not necessarily that I personally agree with them, but to continue the conversation and whatnot. I mean, Stephen, I don't think there's anything that necessarily becomes too controversial in this episode, and I don't have any specific examples in this episode of me saying something that I don't believe, obviously, but it's just a little disclaimer for myself. And I think Stephen portrays a lot of what people, at least people that I've talked to, my personal experience, my friends, people my age are kind of thinking, and I think he makes a lot of good points. Again, though, this is not, there are some touchy things in here that I may or may not fully agree with, or at least fully understand, that it's just things like that. That being said, this was recorded before the whole George Floyd thing, and that is not a political issue. That is a human rights issue, and I will go on record and say that is messed up, and I want to use my platform to be able to support, fighting against oppression and things like that. And I think, me putting this at the beginning of a Stephen Barrett episode I don't think he would mind. And again, this episode's all over the place anyways. That's another thing, we talk about people of color in the episode. So, I think, again, you should definitely, there should be, the people in power should be equal and fair to everyone. But I kind of want to get into that more at the end of the episode if you're interested on what I think, which again is really what I think. That's my opinion. It's just so important. That's why I started this podcast, because everybody needs to know what I think. But anyways, yeah, this episode is really fun though. We go all over the place. You can tell we're having a good time. We're just we're just two goons having a conversation, and we do make some good points, and yeah, I don't know. So again, get ready for this episode, another one with Stephen Barrett, and enjoy. Welcome back, Stephen Barrett. But because we were going to talk about this anyways, kind of.
Yeah.
But so we're just talking about climate change for a real quick second
we
here.
Yes.
You're saying for just a hot second, it comes up it's too often. You know what I mean?
When I'm around, it does, which is probably annoying for a lot of people.
No, I mean, it should come up more than it does. I don't know. I think it's probably better to talk about it than to not talk about it.
Yeah, I think about it a lot and bring it up a lot because, especially like with the pandemic in the background, like there are these huge things that are about to start happening to add, like climate change is something like the pandemic that is going to affect everybody.
Oh yeah.
Except like the 1%. but it's going to affect everyone, and like everybody should care about it, and like we don't. I mean, it is definitely talked about more now, but in my opinion, like I don't know, we all should. Obviously, don't get stressed out, but we all should be alarmed.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be way worse than the pandemic. You know, it's gonna be like
shit's just gonna get bad.
Crazy. It's gonna be bad shit. Crazy.
You can
for a little bit.
It'll it'll go up and down. I mean, you can argue that everyone feels like the period that they live in. Like
is
the world
the worst
is falling
one.
apart. The world's gonna fall apart.
Yeah, like the Cold War.
Yeah, like everyone, like there's gonna be nuclear annihilation, and now everyone like right now, climate change is gonna fuck us. I think it will.
Yeah, or pandemics, or
I think. Well, I think that is. I guess maybe it's not.
Like a sign of global, or like a sign of bad things.
Of nature being like you fucked up for way too long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've had plagues before, though. You know.
True, and we survived.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we're gonna survive COVID.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be a
Oh, COVID
knock on
sure.
wood. I don't think a pandemic is gonna wipe out people.
Well, it already kind of has.
What do you mean?
COVID was technically a pandemic. People.
It is a pandemic. No, I meant like wipe out all people.
Oh, all the people in total.
Yeah, like all humans.
Yeah, all humans.
No, it's killed way too many people.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's really sad.
It is really sad.
Yeah.
But you don't think that's going to be our downfall as like a society? Climate change will probably be.
I think it could be. I think we could get our act together.
I don't know. I think there's other viruses that I talked to the dude who's like a doctor.
No, but I would consider like viruses like part of climate change. I feel like because we are impeding so much on like nature that we are coming into contact with stuff that like not everyone should be coming into contact with.
Yeah.
And that's
fair. It's more like nature impediment versus climate change.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But I mean they definitely obviously are like affecting each other and like the same thing kind of.
But like if you're I think it's the same thing.
No, I see it though. But
yes.
But also last week I had this robotics guy on.
Okay.
He was talking about how robotics and stuff. We're like kind of coming up on a robotics revolution, but we're still not even at the peak of it yet.
Right.
And so like technology could progress to the point where we're able to work some stuff out before shit gets too bad shit crazy.
I think we will. I think technology is going to be like our best friend. Like it's going to be it's what everyone is banking on. But then
our masters.
And
then they're gonna be our we're gonna be
they're gonna be our masters. I mean maybe.
Anyway.
But no, I mean I think there'll be some crazy cool tech that will help save the planet. But I think it's also a mindset change. Like it is culturally we have to change. We have to change how we consume things. We have to change the way we think about food, the way we eat, the way we get our food. I mean, there's so much else that has to change, which tech will help, but like it is a mindset that you have to get into.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I don't know if that mindset is like getting any more prevalent, to be honest with you.
No,
like
it's a
Western. I think it's like the Western mindset personally that's like bad, like really bad for climate change.
Yeah,
and that's spreading from America into
everywhere.
Everywhere because we have figured out a way to just go on vacations and they call it like culture mixing or whatever, but in reality we're just like, no, you need to get a McDonald's here because we're hungry for McDonald's and we're on vacation in your country and you should, I don't know, it's like
that's fair. Yeah, because everywhere I go I ask why there isn't a McDonald's because there should be one.
There should be a McDonald's, though. I don't know. It's like the Mediterranean diet. I learned about it this year in class.
Okay.
But it's like the Mediterranean diet was like the healthiest diet in the world because it's like fish-based, like herb-based.
Fish is great.
Yeah, fish is good.
Sign me up.
If you get good. Yeah, herbs, I'm in for it. Spices, hell yeah.
Spices, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, it's the healthiest diet. And but it's getting to the point where people in, like, Greece and like Italy, maybe I think it was Italy.
They're by
where, whatever. But they're getting to the point where so many people are like vacationing
Vacationing.
Yeah, that's how you say it, right?
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, vacationing in Greece and Italy to the point where they are urbanizing so quickly that their diet is just getting completely flipped inside out. Like, because they're becoming one of the most
of tourism.
Yeah, because of the amount of tourism that's coming through and like Western ideals that are, like I said, where's my Arby's, dog? Arby's has got to be.
Wow, I never really thought about that. I mean, I guess there's probably some like global strategic move by fast food restaurants, but definitely Westerners traveling and wanting their American food made that happen as well.
Oh yeah.
Never really thought about
so it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
No, but I think it is going back to what you said about like how, and I think America somehow we were able to project that like our pop culture is the pop culture that everyone should be into.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think I think it comes from the idea of like America being like the land of the free, because I think it still is thought of that way. Like you still think of America like I can go there and I can make something of myself, which I think a lot of people now think I can make myself famous.
Yeah.
Which is like not real.
Not good.
But I think I was on such a good train.
No, but also America was the first, like, it came up so quickly, more quickly than any other place, and it was new. It wasn't like it was kind of based off of Britain or whatever, or the UK, but it's
American history.
Yeah, but it really like became its own thing. We're only 200 years old compared to every other civilization. Well, I guess there's South America, but that's like Spain.
Yeah, and I remembered what I was gonna say is that like. So it's like the land of the free. Everyone can move here and you're equal.
Right.
Essentially, is kind of what our Constitution says.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit, but it's still like the perception. And so you come here, and everyone kind of looks at like what we do as like, this is the pop culture that's important because this is like the land of the. I don't know. I feel like. That's how I've kind of thought about like
because everybody here is equal, so it's like it should be the best representation.
Yeah.
Of people who have made it here.
Yes.
I guess I kind of get what you're saying.
Yeah, and like just like media began, like mass media and like, I mean just like all these streaming services and just like.
Oh yeah, I'm
just consuming all this.
Amazon
content.
Was that here?
Yeah.
Like Elon Musk, Microsoft. I think that those are like some of the top biggest companies. Disney was doesn't did.
You know what it is?
What?
It's money.
It's money. Hey, and money is power. But also, we grew up in America, so we have these ideas of like, oh yeah, like Kevin Hart is like the biggest guy in the world right now. When in reality, is like no other country is like. Yeah, I want to go see the second Jumanji.
Yeah, that's probably true. Although I bet they did pretty well.
Globally, in the China market for sure. Apparently, that's where we're headed. We need to expand over there.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's how we'll put it. But anyways, to go back to global warming.
Oh my God.
What we were talking about to start out with was going inward and upward. And you were saying we're going to have to do that as a community because
it's going to get hot. Like, everyone, because
it's gonna get
I'm fucking sick and tired every summer. I remember every summer, like, growing up, and I don't know why more people don't think about it like this, but, like, I remember, like, just some summers being so fucking hot, and there being, like, something like, one of the hottest recorded days, like, ever.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, 2 years later, they're, like, one of the hottest recorded days, and then, like, and it kept happening, and so, like, I don't know why people don't understand, like, or, like, they keep saying, like, the California wildfires are, like, this is the worst it's ever been. Like, no shit, it's going to be the worst it's ever been this year, too.
Every
year.
It's
going to be bad.
Oh, yeah. There's a Marin bit where he's like, oh, we just have fire season now? It's like, oh, fires are late this year. That's what he's like.
Yeah, you just completely normalize it.
Yeah.
Where it's not, like, it's not good. Like, for me, like, that's... like a red flag. I don't know, like something's wrong.
No, it should definitely, that's fair. Definitely. But, once the water comes up from the ocean, it'll put out those fires in California.
You know what? You're not wrong. And once the earthquakes in California just falls into the ocean, there will be no more wildfires.
Yeah, and the hurricane just takes out the complete East Coast. It'll be...
And we'll
all be
and then
wet.
Everything else becomes Ohio.
And every just a one Ohio.
Yeah, Mike DeWine. That's not.
I believe in one Ohio. I could see it.
Inward
and upward, like you said, and that's what we're talking about. To get from to all the coasts and shit coming in to the middle, and then upward because we're gonna get hot, right? You want to go north, and you like Michigan because Michigan is the cool cousin.
It's the cool cousin of Ohio. I was about to say earlier that then Mike DeWine would become president, but I don't want that.
Yeah, people were tweeting about that earlier, weren't they?
I mean, he'd be better than Trump, but
well,
he's got some anti-abortion views that I don't agree with.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't see how people are still anti-abortion either.
Yeah, that's
I don't think we should get into that.
That's some Christian shit.
Some Christian shit. But maybe there's something to it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I haven't looked into... Because there's this bit this comedian does. He's like, either, if you don't believe in abortion, then you think that people are killing babies. And so, like, I don't really understand that. But if you thought that babies were being murdered, it's a pretty big deal.
It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. But, yes, back to Michigan. Jesus Christ. It is the cooler cousin of Ohio. Because it just is. I don't know. It's got nice lakes. Like Lake Erie is.
You got that lake. You said Detroit?
Detroit? Well, I like Detroit. I don't know.
I don't know if Ann Arbor's cool. Grand Rapids is sweet.
But
you got
also,
the Upper Peninsula? Why hasn't Wisconsin taken that yet?
Yeah.
It's just up there.
Yeah, we've talked. Yeah. I saw like a map. And that's just how weak Wisconsin's are.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter the other day. I'm
something
not
like that. Yeah, I feel that. But it's a fair point. I mean, Michigan's like, you know what?
Like, why didn't
I think we want these beaches too.
Yeah, like, isn't that, like, inconvenient? Imagine if
I lived in Michigan. Oh, what part?
Wisconsin.
Like, the part that's not in Michigan.
Yeah, they were probably like, Wisconsin would look too weird if they had it.
Yeah.
They could have this big horn.
Yeah, that's true.
So Michigan was like, well, we'll keep it.
If you don't want it.
You don't want it.
But also, weed is getting legalized there.
It is legalized there.
It's not recreationally, is it? I don't think so.
I thought it was.
I think it's medical.
This shows how much I know.
Yeah.
I thought it was legal.
No, I think that's medical.
Officially legal in Michigan.
Really? In 2017?
2018.
2018. Still, that's like 2 years ago. That's crazy. But what I was saying is I would prefer Canada, like Toronto, Canada, because first
of all... But not purchase or sell it.
Oh, really? I mean, a dispensary can, right?
Grow, consume, and possess.
Oh, you have to grow your own weed if you want to smoke it. That's still pretty...
I guess so, so you can't sell it. Dumb.
Yeah, it is kind of dumb. But still, that means they're probably closer to decriminalizing and recreationally legalizing than 50% of states at least.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Canada, right? So Canada has everything legal. You know what I mean? Canada has recreationally legal everywhere. Yeah. I think federally.
Weed, yeah.
Weed, yeah, yes. Yeah. Not everything, yeah. Obviously, yeah.
No.
Not everything.
Aren't shrooms mushrooms? Aren't shrooms mushrooms?
Aren't shrooms mushrooms?
Shrooms legal there?
I would hope so, but I don't think so.
I know.
Because PTSD, we needed to... That's what we need shrooms for, is to help people. Okay, Steven?
Well, yeah, but we can take them for fun.
But we can take them for fun. Yeah, true. But, yeah, but not me personally, because we're on air,
We are on air, and I don't...
We don't...
No, I would not say don't do it.
Yeah.
I would never tell someone to do it. But if someone told me they were going to try it, I'll be like, if you've done your research, do it.
Yeah, if you've done your research. Yeah, if you feel safe doing it.
Yeah.
And you have, like, a good environment to do it in.
And you're mentally stable.
Yes. But just you have to make that call for yourself.
You have to make that call for yourself. Do it with a purpose.
Do it with a purpose. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't do it at all, because drugs are bad. And people say that for a reason sometimes. Anyways, Canada. So what I've been trying to get to, son, here. This is what I'm trying to say here is so weed, if it was legalized, after this whole coronavirus thing, it could technically, I feel like it could definitely help save our economy. Don't you?
Wow. Yeah, dude, it definitely could. It could definitely help the economy. Dude, I heard a report that weed actually was like, there was a study done and it like helped.
Oh yeah, like with coronavirus
patients.
it like built up certain
like they
receptors.
were able to like block it better when they were, yeah, that's fucking crazy.
That's really cool.
So that's cool. Another reason why it should be legal. But no, I mean, it could 100% help the economy. But I believe that it should not become like commercialized. Like I think it should become, if Trump, well, I'll talk about that later. But if it became legal, it could very easily go the way of big tobacco.
Oh, for
and
sure.
become this big conglomerate. And that, hopefully, I don't think
America,
that's what it would
probably
become.
would, though.
In America, it would, because America does that with everything.
Right.
But I would like to believe that like weed culture would keep that from happening. But what it should be, what should happen is it should become legal, and then it should first like benefit the people that the incarceration and like it being illegal hurt. So like it should help people of color and like minorities that have been fucked over for just like dumb possession stuff. And like it should help those communities as well.
For sure.
Because I think they have been, because of it being illegal, it has affected them the most. And we owe them a lot more than that, in my opinion.
Do you
so
think,
if it became like a big business, they're going to
quick question, though. Do you think people of color and minorities use weed more?
Dude, don't put me in that box.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, that's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm
but
saying
it's just more valid. It's just an excuse
if you look
for, like,
at it,
feds
yeah.
I mean, fucking cops. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to say that that is a... I'm not trying to stereotype or saying that that's...
But it would definitely... I get what you mean, though, because, like I said... Like I'm saying, it's like I feel like the same amount of people actually use it everywhere, but it's a good reason for
But those people get fucked over for it way more.
Exactly.
So if it's going to be legal, they should be, like, they should, not, I guess, profit in a sense, but, like, they should benefit from this.
Yeah, at least get, come up a little bit.
I don't know, if they want to.
If they want to.
I don't know.
Who's they, Stephen? I'm just messing.
Yeah,
no, but hopefully for sure it would, like you're saying. I think it would too. I think it would just benefit people all around, because
it would benefit. Yeah, I mean, it would benefit. I think everyone.
It's just a different type of like mindset. I think it opens people's minds in a different way.
Yeah, I think it makes you more. It makes you a more like empathetic person. I don't know.
That's a good word.
For me, like I feel like it among other things has like humbled my ego.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it made me be able to like look at myself and through like other people's, obviously I'm not like, I'm looking through like their perspective through my own perspective, but it made me realize that like these people have like what I think of myself is completely different from what they think of me. Mm-hmm. Like they have Steven in their brains, which is similar to what I believe I am,
right?
But it's also like that's their perception of me.
Mm-hmm. And
the first time, like I realized that, I was like, I'd smoked and I was like fried as fuck, and it to me like that
was a big realization.
It was a big realization, and like just kind of like humbled me.
Okay. Kind
of in the sense that like there's so many other perspectives besides my own. So like why should I get so worried about my own perspective? And I wonder if I had never smoked, would have I ever come to that realization? Hopefully. I don't know, but
no, I feel it too, and I like personally for me
it brought me peace. Yeah,
you get that sense of like inwardness. I think it turns you in. You kind of think a little bit more how everybody else probably thinks inward, at least a certain amount, to the point where like, okay, they're having their own train of thought right now, or like they're their own person a little bit more. And also personally, I think when I do smoke, when I'm high, I just feel like a little disconnected from my emotions, which I guess is kind of like part of self a little bit, and ego. I feel a little bit more disconnected from them, so I can look at them from like a different
party.
Third party view, like an omniscient. Yeah, like I'm God when I'm high. But No, but it lets you take a step back and be like, all right, I was getting upset about this, but right now I really don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? Because like I'm in this moment right now, I'm not in it. I don't have to just don't think about it. You know, just think about high stuff.
Exactly. You just kind of release yourself. No, but I think it makes you turn inward, and it can help you then look outward. Mm-hmm. At the world in like a more like empathetic and like compassionate way.
Right.
Hopefully.
So legalization.
It can sometimes like demotivate you.
Yeah.
It can really fuck some people up. So like
much. And anxiety.
And anxiety and like I smoke a decent amount and have sometimes like I struggle with that too. And I think it's all about how you like handle like your self-control and like your usage. But yeah, I mean it's not for everyone. It is great.
It's good stuff. It's nice.
Yeah.
But so this leads to illegal. You were about to. I'm sorry, I did interrupt because you were talking about like how it could help. It would help benefit minorities and people of,
Yeah, it just help.
Backgrounds.
I mean, it would help the economy overall. Mm-hmm. It would create a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, I mean, I think it could. I mean, everyone would get behind. I don't know. I feel like if there was a bigger maybe there's not a bigger national movement because it's not just in the public, it's not going to be acceptable yet, but and obviously it will be in a few years, but I don't know. I personally think that, and this is not my own idea, I heard this, like I listened to a podcast and they talked about this, but it scared me, but they're talking about in general about Biden and Trump and just their electability and like what are people, who are they like looking to vote for or whatnot?
Polling and stuff.
Yeah, the polling, and thank you.
Yeah.
And then like one of the people on the podcast like proposed like if Joe Biden just said if he just said legalize it, like it'd be over. He'd win. Like if he just said that and he came up with like a good plan that like didn't commercialize and like capitalize weed and it was small scale and it was like small business and like there was a plan, like he would win, like it would be over for Trump.
Really?
But then he was like, but if Trump does it, like watch November come. Mm-hmm. Trump has fucked up with the coronavirus, personally like handling it. Mm-hmm. And so like people aren't happy about that. It's projected it could get really bad in the beginning of the fall again.
Yeah.
Why not? Like, and if Trump is like on the line, like if people are really mad at him or like he has like some like a dip in the polls or whatnot, I don't know. I don't know if he would do it because I don't know how popular it would be among his base. But he's erratic enough, he could just start tweeting about it. And it'd be over. Like, it'd be over, he would win. If he did it before.
If he was
whoever
like,
does
weed
it first,
will help the people.
Yeah, I think whoever would do
weed
it.
Benefit
weed
from
benefit.
weed. That should be the campaign.
Yeah, I think if someone did it this election, whoever did it, they would win.
Really?
In my opinion.
Okay. So, in which case, if
so
Trump
many young
did
people
it,
would come
though,
out to vote. So many young people would vote.
Oh yeah.
Like if that was on the ballot, how? Because voting in general in the fall is going to be fucked up. Like it might all be mail in. It might like who knows. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I think people are just like bored with politics and just like the people who are in power and just like nothing they want to see get done.
We need a
like
reboot.
Saying legalize weed is like this big flashy like green like neon sign that would just distract everyone. It would get so many young people who normally don't give a fuck about politics are gonna suddenly care.
Right.
Yeah, man.
So if
and
Trump,
I think Trump would do it before Biden would.
Because Trump's batshit crazy.
Because Trump is crazy.
He's a wild ride. But if he did it, so as opposed to what you're saying, like if Biden did it, you think he could keep it like kind of smaller and like more small businessy?
No, dude, I don't think that's possible.
Probably
I think it'll
not.
be commercialized.
But it would be less commercialized than if Trump did it first. If Trump tried to like,
if Trump did it, it would be
he would just
dirty.
like pump money into it.
If Biden did it, it would
feel
be
dirty. If anything,
it would feel very dirty. It would be dirty either way.
True.
You would know it's dirty if it was Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't think it'll happen. But it's fun to like speculate.
If it did.
Mm-hmm. I think.
Well, that's the other thing is like even before coronavirus, it could have helped our economy so much. People were like, the economy's doing great, when in reality it's like, well, the markets are doing great, but is the economy actually doing that great?
It's like it's doing fine. Like it's
like we
had a recession and now we're doing fine.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's definitely growing inequality, which
well, and I mean the amount that the U.S. government is in debt. I mean, is that any sign of how we're doing as a country at all? I mean,
I think it is, but I think that's our own fault, and there's a way to work on that. But I think we have to help the people that we fucked over accumulating that debt anyways first.
Before we.
And I think if America made that example, like if we just had a president who was like, you know what, like just swinging my dick around the country, like the world isn't important, and what I need to do is like look inward and like fix the problems in my country.
Oh yeah.
And like, yes, we're gonna probably have to borrow a lot of money to do that. We might not. We could also cut back on a lot of spending. We spend a lot on some certain things. I don't think we need to spend money on.
Yeah.
Controversial thought, but
understandable.
If we had a president that did that, and we actually like, I don't know, it could be an example to other countries or mainly like authoritarian, that like, why are we like power
hungry? Yeah. It's like we're not gonna change at this point. I feel like the borders are established. I mean, there might be little countries.
We're fighting for other things. I don't think we're fighting for borders.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying.
But
yeah, I mean, it's money now. It basically is money.
Yeah,
now.
And it's yeah. I mean, I think power is like a drug. It's a certain point where it's like, it is this thing that you feel
and get high off of.
Yeah. So they're I guess essentially fighting for that. But I don't know. We're talking about debt. I think that's what America should do. In my opinion, that's what America should be. America should be this place. Like it is, I don't know, I've always thought of it as like the land of the free. And the older I've gotten, the more I've learned that it's not. But I mean, growing up as like a white male in a suburban neighborhood, you are, for a while, grown up to believe that America is this great place.
Yeah.
And then you continue to believe that, or you realize it's not. But in my opinion, yeah, America could set this example because we should be. Because we say we are.
It's almost, I don't know. I think, personally, I feel that what you're saying is kind of what I've been thinking recently about how I feel like the idea of freedom and like the American dream is going to dramatically change here. Like as we start, getting away from like world wars and like attacking people and like physical violent wars, we kind of, I mean, there's this quote from Fight Club where it's like, we've had no world war, we had no Great Depression. Our Great Depression is our lives, you know what I mean? And it's like, we need something inward that will, Enlightenment is the idea of, the Great Enlightenment, whatever that was, whatever time period that was.
Whatever.
It was like 900 to maybe, 1,000 maybe 1,900.
I can't even.
Yeah, exactly. But the idea of the Enlightenment is like the idea of Enlightenment isn't that everybody just becomes enlightened. You know what I mean?
It's a slow process.
But it's the fact, like, during the Enlightenment, everybody had the opportunity to become enlightened. And, like, if they wanted to, they looked for it. There were still people that chose not to. You know what I mean? So,
do you think we recently went through an enlightenment?
Not really. But what
I think we.
You think so?
We kind of did. Yeah, the civil rights era. I think that was an enlightenment.
Fair.
That was an enlightenment on the treatment of human beings.
Definitely. I could see that.
Yeah, and I think that, I don't know. I also watched the back to talking about drugs. The psychedelic Netflix documentary, and they talked about how, I don't know, one of the people on it, I mean, I thought, I was like, wow, that's a good point. It's not fact, but he was like, they were making all this progress on psychedelic research and just like expanding the mind and the brain, and at the same time, the civil rights like movement, like women's rights, everything was starting, and then they just pulled the rug on, and like and that was the same time when a lot of people were experimenting with LSD. Like it was like this time of like love and just like whatever. Yeah. I don't know, I didn't grow up then, wish I didn't, that'd be cool. Yeah. They also, those people now suck, but they fucked everything up. But imagine if they didn't crack down on the LSD and they continued the research and drugs weren't looked at as this horrible thing that's going to make you lose your mind and jump out of a window. Yeah. What if they are looked at as just medicine and this recreational thing that, expands your fucking brain.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? I don't know. I guess, in my opinion, it's like fear. There's some sort of fear of knowing more about yourself in the world.
Well,
because you have, like, this, like, outer projection of, like, who you are and, like, what you're seeing. But there's also, like, this huge dark void that's back here that you look at sometimes, but
you just scrape the surface of it.
Yeah.
You're so focused
And so
on
doing,
the outside.
like, smoking weed
It
helps
makes
you kind of
inward
look at it a
and
little
doing
more.
psychedelics kind of.
Yeah.
Too. No, yeah, I feel that, and I think it's that fear is like, it's just you know,
It's not for
it's
everyone.
because no, the fear I think is because it's scary that people like the power that the mind, if you actually explore the mind,
right,
the power that can come from unlocking things in your mind, I think it's a controversial thing. It's almost like spiritual, you know, and not everybody's spiritual, so I get that.
Yeah, but I agree. Like, it's,
I think there's something like if you unlock certain things in your mind, there are people who have done like insane things.
Yeah.
Even like on a smaller scale, like the Tibetan monks are able to just stand out in the snow once they travel inward or do their meditation, and then they go out in the snow and just like heat, like the snow will melt on them. You see steam like coming up from their bodies from it.
That's wild.
It's,
and there's that protester. They might have been a monk. I don't know if they were, but they were meditating, and they lit themselves on fire. And the entire time that he burned alive, he didn't move.
Really?
Yeah, like that. Think about the power of the mind.
That they must have.
Like that. I mean, it's crazy.
So if we were able to do that, if they were able to legalize weed,
we
legalize ranch, then we could finally burn some. Yeah, we could stand global warming. We would be able to train the temperature of our mind.
Oh my god. No, it won't save us from global warming, but it will create a lot of jobs. It could fix a lot of, like, Kentucky could boom. Like, hemp would be great in Kentucky. It would grow great there.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. There's just so much that goes into it. Oh, what I was gonna kind of get into a little bit was how like I'm saying, the shifting of the American dream a little bit is coming from this like violent era, like we were talking about, but it's going into this thing where it's like before it was like people outside cooking burgers and like with their family having a barbecue and like jumping into a pool.
Yeah.
Where it's like now it's gonna be people sitting around eating like Impossible Burgers, hitting Juuls, and like talking about enlightenment and stuff, and like kind of having healthier habits a little bit and kind of traveling. So the idea of like this perfect American culture of freedom where it's like anybody can be capitalistic, now it's going to be anybody can be inward looking. Maybe that's where we could head if we were able to. Like you were saying, it's like that's what you want the idea of America to be.
Yeah,
it's like
but
that
not
freedom.
inward looking. We need to look outward. Like, we need to think about other people.
Yeah, so outward among people, but inward among countries. You know what I mean?
Oh, my bad. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, we should. I mean, yeah. Obviously, we should do like international efforts to help the world. Like, I think we should.
To help.
In my opinion, there should be. It should be like Star Trek, where like it's just like we're all one people, and it's just like I don't know how that would work, but
it's
but
cool.
like we should focus on we shouldn't fuck around in other countries and like try to establish like our dominance or like our Western ideals. Like, we should just fix all the fucking problems we have here and all the problems that are going to come, and then also help other countries. But I think honestly, if we just focus on ourselves, other countries would benefit. I really don't. I think sometimes America helps, but I think the majority of the time we just fuck things up.
Yeah, and complicate things a little bit, which is understandable.
Which is fair. People will then just argue, well, then other countries are just gonna go in
and do their own thing.
Be a mess. Which is fair, and I don't know how to counter that argument because how can we say no, don't do that when we did it for hundreds of years?
Yeah.
It's
like maybe they just need to figure it out themselves.
So, I don't know.
Right. Hopefully, I just don't think, it's just like the whole debate, I can't, I go back and forth on it, but it's like, at some point, there is like a lot of problems within our country that we should definitely figure out first. And I think,
man,
like you said, if that becomes like, it's more like lead by example than as opposed to like
lead by strong arm.
Strong, yeah, big dick or whatever.
Yeah, swinging your dick around.
Right. But you know, again,
I think that you can't even see because you're morbidly obese. According to Nancy.
Figure that shit out for sure. Malnutrition everywhere it's awful. But I think we're pretty far in here. I think we're deep in enough to where we can cut people off to where they'll be like, "What did I just listen to?"
You gotta cut that part out where I completely zoned.
Oh, I'm gonna cut quite a bit out of this. I think we're gonna cut a fair amount of it. You know?
That's fair. There's probably a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, but also good shit. So
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I had a good time. Short and sweet and to the point of 2 points. Global warming sucks and it's inevitable.
Global warming
and legalize weed.
Yes.
Green and green.
Green and green.
Do you have any drops or anything coming up on your fashion thing that you want to promote?
Oh shit.
Your fashion things. Creamy.
No, you're fine. Yeah, my brother and my brand, Creamy Studios. We upcycle clothing. Do we have any drops? We're probably gonna throw some stuff up on the website that we've been working on again, kind of like the last little job we did, but it's not anything serious. We're working on a summer collection. I have no idea when it's gonna come out. I really don't have any content for it. I have the clothes made. But
updates at.
You can look for updates at www. That's a lot of W's. CreamyStudios.com. Or Instagram at creamy dot. There's a dot. Creamy dot studios.
Dude, it just makes me want to eat ice cream every time I see it. Creamy does not typically make me think of ice cream, but at that point in the night when we were finishing up that episode, I could definitely, I was at the moment where I was like, all right, thinking about what kind of snacks I'm going to get at the end of the night. But anyways, I think personally, like I said, it was a little off the walls, and we kind of talk about how crazy it was. Like, we acknowledged that we were at least all over the place, but again, I still think there were some good points made, and I think a lot of what we said had some brevity to it, if that's the right word. It had some weight to it that a lot of people my age and my experience are kind of thinking about the world and where we're headed with this whole, with things just in general, and how weird things are right now for everybody. But yeah, I did want to talk a little bit about the George Floyd thing, and I personally, I've never considered myself racist. I think that's something I'm willing to admit. But I've never considered myself to be, my family, like my parents aren't racist either, for sure, and, they avidly try to be open to people of any sorts and just be genuine to everybody and equal to everybody. However, they were raised in the North, so they are a little conditioned to make comments or remarks or just used to certain things that can add to oppressive behavior, but they typically keep that within their household and private, which I really respect. Like, my parents did a good job to the point, where I am able to not do that. You know what I mean? I am able to form my own opinions and beliefs about the system and things like this. And it is just, I just want to say that I'm sorry I'm white. Not really. You shouldn't be sorry. You shouldn't apologize for your race. And that's kind of the whole point. You should be proud of who you are and who your people are. And especially African American. Not African Americans, but black people in general, all over the place. People of color, people. It's something that you are born with and you have to embrace and be confident about. And if you are afraid, it's so messed up. I started getting into some Spike Lee movies recently, and Spike Lee is a black director who, all of his movies are always pretty well reviewed and well made, but they're always about racial injustice, which, he's using his power and, his name and brand to support what he believes in. And I think everybody should do that if it really, because honestly, I've only seen two of them, but they really have changed my outlook on things. Like, obviously, I knew that racism was bad and everything, but I never got the extent of how oppression affected black people, at least. There's this movie we watched called Do the Right Thing, and in the movie, I am going to spoil it, unfortunately. It came out in the 80s or 90s, so kind of deal with that. I'm sorry. I don't think a lot of people are going to take the time to watch it. And if you are, then go ahead and stop right here. I'm warning you. But it's really relevant to this whole thing about, it's about a small town. It's about a small, like, kind of a ghetto area where, a black kid works at a pizza place run by Italian people. So there's some racial tension there, and there's black people that come in, and they, the majority of people that come into that pizza place are black, and they complain about how there's not black people hanging on the wall. It's all Italians and white people that the owner likes. And so he tries to start like a little protest about that. And then there's also the black kid working at the pizza place who's trying to make enough money for his baby mama and his baby, and stuff like that. And even the culture of walking around carrying music and being able to establish your dominance of, like, this is my music and stuff like that it was a very insightful movie on what goes on and why the ghetto is kind of the way that it is. I mean, they are ghettos. That's where we just kind of box people in, and they are poorer areas, which is fucked up. And again, I am so lucky to be privileged, and now at this point, I want to acknowledge that, and I want to be able to use my position to at least speak out against all of this shit that's going on. And anyways, in the movie, there's tensions start rising, and they try to protest the pizza place, but then at the end they all start fighting, and the pizza owner is fighting this black dude, and they're like choking each other out, and it's everybody sees it because it's a small area, it's all in one street, and everybody's hanging out, but they all come together in this big dog fight, a dog pile type of thing. They're all getting together and just kind of trying to pull each other off and whatnot. And so it wasn't like the situation there was that great in the first place. But then after all this shit starts happening, so the police pull up and they break everybody up, and they pull the black guy off of the Italian dude who runs the pizza place, and they start choking him with a police baton. And they keep choking him, and everyone's like, stop, he can't breathe, you got him off, like, he's dying, what are you doing? And the policeman just kept going. Even the other policeman was like, hey man, what are you doing, like, come on. And he just kept going and going, and that guy fucking died. And it was crazy to the point where the whole movie did not really involve the police. And then at the end, they pulled, I don't know if you've ever heard of this term, Deus Ex Machina, which it's in a story when they use a godlike power or some supernatural thing or weird thing out of place to solve the issue of the movie that everything's been building up. And it kind of just throws you off. And it's kind of looked down upon by writers because it's kind of random. But in this case, they almost turned the police into a Deus Ex Machina. Like, they weren't even involved in most of the movie, and just out of nowhere they come out, and I mean, they solved the tension between the protester and the pizza place. But I mean, after that, then it was obviously the neighborhood was not happy at all. And yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the same like, I just think it's so like, obviously things weren't great before, but coming in and killing a dude was not helping either. You want to be able to help people, but at some point you have to realize you're not helping them. Like, they have to figure it out on their own. And I don't know what that means about my personal beliefs or not, but I just know that this, like, in the movie, that's what I was saying earlier, especially black people in the movie, it's something I never even thought about. He's like, black people were the start of civilization. That's where people evolved originally. Those are the first human beings in Africa. and somehow they became enslaved and oppressed, and we've gotten to this point where they're still oppressed, and people get so mad when when there are marches or protests of any kind, of even looting and whatnot, and it's like, man, if your whole race, like, I mean, I know you're not there. Some people are like, you don't even know that guy or whatever, but it's like, that is part of you, who you will identify as, and only a certain amount of people can identify as from that group. And when one person from that group, not one, multiple people over years and years, there was slavery and then oppression to the point of where we just, it's just really messed up. And I mean, obviously people have heard enough about this and are still reading about it now. It's still going on. And I mean, there's also some conspiracy stuff going on that involves coronavirus and the race war, and I really have no idea what's going on in America or what the Illuminati is trying to accomplish, if they're behind any of this. But it's just, I think, you need to realize that there is an oppressor and there are messed up people, but if you're not a messed up person, you need to be able to support the people who are being oppressed. Like, that I should use this position that I'm in to try and help. And that's basically what I wanted to get down to. And I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and there are so many viewpoints on this, but what it really comes down to, no matter how you see it, like, there is a video of a police officer and multiple videos of police officers just violently crossing the line, just killing people for no reason. And there's stories about it there, or it's just so unnecessary. And again, there are a lot of viewpoints, and so I don't think there's anything. I'm not gonna say that I'm missing something and I'm getting it wrong, because that is not right. I think you need to use your position to speak out against this, and you need to be strong about it. You can't let people die. You can't let people be oppressed and let people be scared by this Deus Ex Machina, godlike government that we've established for some reason. I mean, and that's the other thing. Obviously, government is important. We would probably all be in some sort of Mad Max fucking anarchy type of state without it. So, I mean, there's not really a direct answer besides, you have to follow your first instinct of this is wrong. And I don't know what the solution is, but it's not killing people. It's not. So, yeah, that's what I think. And again, I am a stupid kid that knows nothing. But I think, like I said, I just want to use my platform to preach the right things and say the right things. And I think you should as well. So, yeah, thank you for listening to my podcast, if you still listen. And hopefully I have helped you come upon some sort of realization or something, inspired you to do something about this or whatever. And I hope everybody has a nice day. Okay, bye.